Members Peter Welch, he's Democrat from Vermont, and Kevin Brady is Republican from Texas. Also, Michael Nutter is Democratic mayor from Philadelphia, and Senator John Barrasso, Republican from Wyoming. All right, Senator Barrasso, I will start with you. There's a report from the Joe Biden talks, which have carried over into the Obama discussions in the Oval Office and elsewhere, that all of the spending cuts, quote unquote, are in the out years, Senator Barrasso, which tells me they're as phony as a $3 bill and aren't real. Would you like to comment on out-year spending cuts versus 2012 spending cuts, the only ones that really matter?
Yeah, well, you're right, Larry. Those are the ones that matter. We need to cut spending. Americans know our problem is that we're taxed too little. It's that we as a nation spend too much. And with 9.2% unemployment, the last thing you want to do is raise taxes on anyone. I'm happy to negotiate in terms of what cut, but I will not negotiate, nor will my colleagues in the Republican Senate, on raising taxes. We will not raise taxes.
Well, okay, but again, you didn't really answer my question. Let me go to House Member Peter Welch. Mr. Welch, welcome back to the show. I'm still looking. I don't like taxes. We can debate that in a second. But on spending, Peter, what is the spending? Just on discretionary spending. The Ryan budget cut about $150 billion out of 2012. Are we anywhere near that kind of spending reduction in this so-called peas and porridge deal?
Well, we're not. And actually, we're getting locked down even more in these ideological positions. If we actually want to get the debt down, obviously you put everything on the table. The Democrats got to give in on some of their spending programs. I think the Republicans absolutely refusing to do anything on taxes, even get rid of the ethanol tax credits, which the majority of the Republicans in the House favor doing, makes it much more difficult. Bottom line, we're getting to the midnight hour here, and we're playing Russian roulette with the economy. And I don't care whether you have the Republican position or the Democratic position. If we default, interest rates go up 1%, that's $160 billion added to the debt. We need a plan B. If the negotiators can't reach an agreement, then they've got to tell us what we're going to do to avert default. That is very dangerous for this economy.
Mayor Nutter of Philadelphia, welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you, Larry.
What does Philadelphia stand to lose if there's no debt deal and if we have to parcel out revenues, to cover the bonds first, to cover the entitlements second? What does a city like Philly stand to lose?
Well, like many other cities across America, what we stand to lose is stoppage of payments to military families, possibly Social Security, Medicare. This will economically damage not just the country, but will shake the foundation of the full faith and credit of the United States of America. This would be economically devastating. Interest rates going up on car loans and credit cards, business people trying to get loans, and their interest rates going up will stifle development at the worst possible time. People who have been investing in their 401ks will see economic impact as well. So I cannot imagine under any set of circumstances that there would be any level of irresponsibility in not raising the debt limit, given the negative impact that it will have on cities like Philadelphia and cities all across the United States of America. The country will be hurt by that kind of inaction. And I certainly would implore the members on this panel and all the members of Congress to take up that issue immediately. And then it's how do you solve that problem if there is agreement to raise the debt limit?
We'll be back to you on that. Hold on. Kevin Brady, Congressman Kevin Brady, let me just ask you, here's what President Obama said today. He said this tax increases, these so-called revenue measures, won't kick in until 2013. Now, Kevin, question. If that's the case, why not wait for full-fledged, full-bore tax reform to end all the deductions and lower the rates? If you're not talking for a couple of years, then why not have full-bore tax reform? That's the part that sort of baffles me.
Yeah, fundamental tax reform really is the answer. What I do know is this. Over the last 2 years, the president's raised taxes by $600+ billion. Bills he signed, not a dime went to deficit reduction. And I question whether a dime would today. The truth of the matter is spending really is the problem here. The president likes to talk about sacrifice among energy companies, sacrifice among professionals and wealthy. The truth is, when's the government going to sacrifice? Everyone's been pitching pennies. The government budgets have almost doubled the last couple of years. Most companies are laying off off workers, especially small businesses. Federal government's hiring federal workers. So my question is, when's the government going to sacrifice in order to help us get our financial house in order?
Peter Welch, could you want to answer that?
Well, I do. There's something, Larry, that's not on the level here. The folks who voted for the Ryan budget, which had those dramatic cuts that you're talking about, and now are adamant against raising the debt ceiling, that Ryan budget takes our deficit from our debt from $14.3 trillion to $23 trillion. So how is it that folks that support the Ryan budget that requires, in order to implement it, increasing the debt ceiling, are now stonewalling on doing anything other than defaulting on our bills? That just baffles me. This threat of default is serious, and we have to put aside whatever our leverage positions are to do what we know we have to do. Otherwise, we're going to get pistol whipped into doing it when the bond market turns with ferocity against the American economy.
Well, all right.
The discussion about quote unquote raising taxes, we're talking about the wealthiest Americans, not the average American. You can't balance a budget on the middle class, seniors, and students, millionaires and billionaires, hedge fund managers, oil and gas companies, corporate jet tax deduction or a tax cut. Are you serious about corporate jets? Have a 9% unemployment rate here in the city of Philadelphia.
$100 every year. You'd have to get the corporate jets tax for 5,000 years to make up for the deficit that this president has given us in 1 year.
We don't need more
taxes. We need more taxpayers.
No, what we need is more people working. What we need is more people working.
And we see what's going on. Unemployment. We're collecting about 15% in taxes.
Well,
that's the lowest it's been since the Eisenhower years.
And this president is not
and these proposals are not getting us there. We need more people working. That's what we need.
Peter Welch, the mayor's right. We need more people working. But Peter, you got, I don't know what the right estimate is, $600, $800 billion in tax hikes that supposedly kick in 2013. You also have 2013, the end of the Bush tax cuts. You've also got the Obamacare tax increases. You've got payroll taxes. You've got investment taxes. You've got business taxes, Peter. If you're an employer, I'm sure you know this, you're not going to hire unless you see clear sailing on cost for 3 or 4 or 5 years. Wouldn't you say these tax increases will keep a freeze on job creation?
No, not all spending is the same. Not all taxes are the same. You spend money to do your roads and bridges. A lot of people are willing to borrow money for that. I am. It helps us for generations. But you raise taxes. Warren Buffett, you can pay a few percent more. Going to Warren Buffett's driver or gardener, that's a little tougher. So they're not all the same. We're collecting about 15%. That's the lowest it's been since Eisenhower.
I had to temporarily raise taxes here in Philadelphia. Ronald Reagan, kind of a serious Republican, raised taxes 11 times during his tenure.
Well, Reagan, of course, kept the tax rates down. But Senator Barrasso, I just want to ask you, you're in the leadership. Is there common ground here? All this stuff is happening. It's big media. So far, as we reported from Eamon Javers, there's nothing. Is there common ground, Senator Barrasso?
The common ground is there are Republicans who are willing to raise the debt ceiling, which is what the president is requesting, and in return, we want an equal, if not larger, amounts of cuts in spending now, not in the out years, and taxes are off the table. Larry.
Peter Welch, is
Senator,
that deal
I know you
possible?
know this, that the cuts in spending are actually causing state and local governments to shed jobs. We're putting people out of work and contributing to our own unemployment problem. I mean, this is the opposite of what anybody should be doing.
And we've got to go ahead, Kevin.
No, I was just going to say, I'm glad we brought up Ronald Reagan because since his presidency through President Bush, we shrunk the size of the federal government in relation to the economy and grew 37 million new jobs. Since we started spending, we've lost jobs.
I've got to get out.
Clinton years, the higher tax rates, 20 million new jobs.
So somehow investing in America.
We're still looking.
This is an argument that says somehow investing in America is a detriment to the country. That makes no sense whatsoever.
I wish I had more. Truly, Mayor Nutter, thank you. I wish I had much more time. I'm still looking for common ground. Peter Welch, thank you.
This president's making it tougher and more expensive to
Kevin
create jobs
Brady,
in this
thank
country.
you very much. Senator John Barrasso, you're all terrific to come on and help us this evening. All right, still looking for common ground. Up next on Kudlow.